From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. It is shaping up to be a busy trip to the latest G20 for the Prime Minister. Mark Carney is in South Africa for the summit and has already met with French President Emmanuel Macron. The pair talked about Canada's collaboration with European defence firms through the Rearm Europe initiative, as well as the current state of the world. On top of face-to-face meetings, Carney will also be taking part in official meetings with G20 leaders, a morning session on inclusive economic growth, and an afternoon session on climate change, food systems, and clean energy. Back home and onto the East Coast now, where Defence Minister David McGuinty opened up a conference on global security at the Halifax International Security Forum, which kicked off 3 days of discussions yesterday. Asked about Russia's war with Ukraine and a proposed peace plan that has been negotiated between the Trump administration and the Kremlin, McGuinty said Canada supports Ukraine's territorial integrity, but also said there was support for dialogue that could lead to a negotiated settlement ending the war.
There are 1,000 Russians a day dying and hundreds of Ukrainians. So the question of making progress, I'm always looking for progress. Canada's always looking to support progress, as long as those two first principles are respected.
The conference has attracted more than 300 delegates from around the world, including politicians, government officials, and military leaders. This year's focus is democracy. At that same security forum, McGuinty also told reporters that Canada's review of the decision to buy F-35 fighter jets will take some time. McGuinty offered no hints as when a decision could be made.
There are many factors in the acquisition of a fighter aircraft fleet for Canada. Those are being factored in. They have knock-on distributive effects on infrastructure, on training, on interoperability, on NORAD, on capacity.
Prime Minister Mark Carney said last March that Canada was reviewing its decision to buy 88 F-35 stealth fighters from Lockheed Martin in the U.S. to replace its aging fleet of F-18 fighters. Canada is giving another look to other options, including the Gripen fighter jet made by Saab in Sweden. And finally over to the West Coast, where a school outing in Bella Coola, BC turned into what the Newhawk Nation calls a life and death crisis after a grizzly bear mauled 4 people. 2 victims were flown out in critical condition. Environment Minister Tamara Davidson said yesterday that the bear remains on the loose.
We understand that this is a very distressing time for the community. To ensure the safety of the community members, we are asking that everyone please stay indoors. Conservation officers who were able to respond quickly, they are doing the important work of trying to locate the bear.
Investigators believe that the bear may have been injured before the attack, while locals say aggressive encounters have been increasing. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Carolina Hurricanes put a damper on Eric Comrie's first game as the Winnipeg Jets starting goaltender, downing the only Canadian team seeing action Friday night 4-3. Elsewhere in the league, the Wild blanked the Penguins 5-0. The Sabres dispatched the Blackhawks soundly 9-3 the final, and the Bruins beat the Kings 2-1 in OT. Rookie Kiara Zanin scored the go-ahead goal in the third period as the Toronto Scepters beat the two-time defending champion Minnesota Frost 2-1 in the season opener of the Professional Women's Hockey League. Now over to the NBA, where Brandon Ingram had 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists as the Toronto Raptors routed the Washington Wizards 140-110, advancing in the NBA Cup. The Raptors' win over Washington, coupled with the Indiana Pacers' 120-109 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers earlier in the evening, clinched Toronto's spot in the knockout rounds in the in-season tournament. And 49ers receiver Brandon Ayuk had the guaranteed money in his contract for next season voided after failing to participate in meetings and other team activities. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.